The world of international trade can often feel like a complex dance, with countries taking turns leading and following. Recently, the United States and Canada found themselves locked in a particularly delicate step, one involving the threat of tariffs on Canadian goods. Former President Trump, known for his assertive trade policies, had initially announced his intention to impose a 25% tariff on a range of products coming from Canada. This sent shockwaves through both economies as businesses and consumers braced for the potential impact. However, in a surprising turn of events, the Trump administration agreed to a 30-day delay on these tariffs. This decision came as a welcome reprieve, offering a window of opportunity for both sides to find common ground and avert a potential trade war. The delay was not unconditional, however. It came on the heels of intense negotiations between the two countries, culminating in an agreement on enhanced border security measures. The specter of tariffs had loomed large over the US-Canada relationship, threatening to disrupt the flow of goods and services between these two closely intertwined economies. The 30-day pause signaled a willingness to explore alternative solutions and find a path forward that addressed the concerns of both nations. The temporary nature of the delay underscored the fragility of the situation. It was clear that the underlying issues remained unresolved, and the threat of tariffs would resurface if a more permanent solution was not found within the 30-day window. The delay bought valuable time, but it also raised the stakes for both sides to come to the negotiating table with a genuine desire to find common ground. The 30-day period was not just a reprieve, it was a test. It was a test of whether two countries with a long history of cooperation could overcome their differences and forge a path forward that benefited both their economies and their people. The eyes of the world were watching, eager to see if diplomacy and pragmatism would prevail over protectionism and brinkmanship. The outcome of this 30-day period had the potential to set the tone for future trade relations between the two countries and could even have broader implications for the global trading system. The decision to delay the tariffs was intricately linked to a core concern of the Trump administration: border security. In announcing the delay, Trump emphasized the importance of addressing what he perceived as vulnerabilities along the US-Canada border. This focus on border security was not new. It had been a recurring theme throughout Trump's presidency. However, the decision to tie it directly to trade negotiations with Canada signaled its elevation to a top priority. To secure the tariff delay, Canada agreed to a series of measures aimed at bolstering border security, particularly in areas seen as susceptible to illegal crossings and smuggling. These measures included increased surveillance, enhanced patrol capabilities, and greater information sharing between US and Canadian law enforcement agencies. The agreement reflected a recognition by both countries that border security was not solely a national issue, but rather a shared responsibility requiring collaborative solutions. Central to the border security agreement was a commitment from Canada to invest heavily in upgrading its border infrastructure and technology. This included the acquisition of new surveillance equipment, such as drones and sensors, as well as the deployment of additional personnel to patrol remote border regions. The investment underscored Canada's willingness to take concrete steps to address the concerns raised by the United States. The emphasis on border security, while central to the tariff delay, also raised concerns about potential impacts on the free flow of goods and people across the border. Businesses worried that increased security measures could lead to delays at border crossings, while some expressed concern about potential infringements on civil liberties. Striking a balance between enhancing security and maintaining the fluidity of cross-border movement remained a key challenge for both countries as they implemented the terms of the agreement. While border security in general played a significant role in the tariff delay, a specific concern loomed large: the flow of fentanyl into the United States. Trump had repeatedly raised the alarm about the opioid crisis gripping the nation, and he viewed the trafficking of fentanyl across the US-Canada border as a major contributing factor. The potent synthetic opioid had ravaged communities across the United States, and stemming its flow became a personal crusade for Trump. The Trump administration had long pressured Canada to take more aggressive action to combat fentanyl trafficking, viewing it as a matter of national security, as well as public health. The delay in tariffs was conditional on Canada demonstrating a tangible commitment to addressing this issue. This included enhanced efforts to intercept fentanyl shipments at the border, increased cooperation with U.S. law enforcement agencies to target trafficking networks, and stricter penalties for those involved in the illegal fentanyl trade. Canada, while acknowledging the seriousness of the fentanyl crisis, initially resisted what it perceived as undue pressure from the United States. However, the threat of tariffs forced Canada to reconsider its position and seek a compromise that would satisfy the concerns of the Trump administration without undermining its own sovereignty. The agreement reached reflected a delicate balance between addressing U.S. concerns and preserving Canadian autonomy. The fentanyl factor injected a sense of urgency and high stakes into the tariff negotiations. The issue transcended traditional trade disputes, becoming entangled with matters of public health, law enforcement, and national security. This complex interplay of factors made finding a mutually agreeable solution all the more challenging, but it also underscored the high stakes involved for both countries. The 30-day delay in tariffs provided a temporary reprieve, but it also marked the beginning of a challenging journey for the United States and Canada as they sought to chart a new course for their trade relationship. The underlying issues that had led to the tariff threat, from trade deficits to border security concerns, remained unresolved. The 30-day period was merely a pause in the storm, not the storm itself passing. At the heart of the challenge lay the need to reconcile the America First trade agenda championed by Trump with the deep economic integration between the United States and Canada. The two countries were each other's largest trading partners, with billions of dollars in goods and services flowing across the border each day. Disrupting this flow carried significant economic risks for both sides. Moving forward, both countries acknowledged the need for ongoing dialogue and a commitment to finding mutually acceptable solutions. The 30-day delay provided a framework for continued negotiations, but it did not guarantee success. The path ahead was likely to be marked by moments of both cooperation and tension as the two countries navigated their complex and multifaceted relationship. The outcome of the negotiations had implications that extended far beyond the immediate trade dispute. The U.S.-Canada relationship served as a model for international cooperation, and its success or failure carried symbolic weight. A breakdown in relations between these two close allies would send a worrying signal to the rest of the world, potentially emboldening those who sought to undermine the rules-based trading system. Conversely, a successful resolution could reaffirm the power of diplomacy and compromise in navigating complex global challenges.